Hey everybody, welcome back. Happy Thursday, or whenever you're watching or listening to this. We are live across Facebook and YouTube Live. So what I need you to do right now, I need you to like, comment, and share. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at the Speaker Podcast, on YouTube at Camille Essick Official. You can also follow me on Instagram at Camille.Essick. And I would love to hear from you. Just send me an email at the Speaker Podcast at gmail.com. Now, tonight is a special episode for so many reasons. Just because my brother and friend is here, back from the TCMBA days, and the back in the day from the pandemic with Mike and Mimosas. So you might be like, oh, he looks familiar. He is like family to me. You know, I don't cook for everybody, but I've cooked for this one. He can testify. But yes, he is what I call a visionary. He's a digital curator, AI king, musician, singer. We're gonna get into all of the things, but as even though he's been on Mikey Mimosas, this is his first time to the Speaker Podcast. So we definitely want to send him some love today. My brother, my friend DeShon Gales is here. Hey,
Yes,
DeShon.
finally.
Finally, long overdue. So just to catch up, like, first of all, how are you doing?
I am well. I am doing good. I am pushing and I am pressing.
Yes, in the DMV. I remember being stationed in the DMV and fell in love with crab cakes, and I've been a crab cake girl ever since. So,
Yes, indeed. I
yes.
love
So, even though I know you, everyone may not know you. So let the listeners know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
it. Okay. Well, I am DeShon Gales, originally from Memphis, Tennessee, but I live in Washington, D.C. now, the DMV, and I am a portrait photographer that is also a web designer and a graphic designer. So it's multimedia um, for my whole life. So all day long, I'm going to either be shooting, designing, or creating some type of media content for somebody.
Yes. Hi, Miss Betty. Thank you for joining us. And I agree. Miss Betty said, so glad to be here. We're glad to have you here. Found Mr. Gale's AI work on Instagram, and he is mind blowing, talented, and inspirational. All of those things because I worked with DeShon in front and behind the lens. He has shot me as well. And actually was doing the retreat was the first time I worked with him. And when I got my photos back, I was like, oh, I feel like one of Miss Harrington from The House and the House Not. Like he made me look wealthy, not rich. He made me look wealthy. I was like, come on and prophesy on my life, man of God, because your work is crazy amazing. So, as we get into that, DeShon, what inspired you to get into visual arts?
It had to be my mom because she always had me with crayons, the big box.
The 64 Crayola.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm like, but when I see that little 8 crayons, it's like, my mama,
That's not enough.
I need more because I always saw more. I always had coloring books. I always had things that were creative. My mom is very creative, so I was in a creative household, and it had to do with color, photos, drawing, or building. I was doing it, so it's still in me. It's still in my mind. It's still in my everyday life. Even
And
photography, she would
yes.
110, and then the little one with the little blue block where you snapping and it turns. She had all of that, but guess who's snapping the picture? Take this picture, boy.
What was your first camera? We might be kind of dating ourselves, but remember when you had to like whine
Yes,
and drop them off and come get them?
yeah. I had so many film drop offs that I never even picked up. Um, that was my start. I would have the little point and shoot, the little disposable kind. Uh,
Mhm.
that's how I started, and people love those photos. They say, "Oh, you know how to take a picture. You're gonna be a
Yes,
maker." I'm like, yeah, I guess."
yes.
But
And then the cameras had the cube on the top, remember?
yes, that's what my mom had first.
That
And
cube.
I always wanted to take that blue cube apart because I'm like, after you shot it a few times, it was gone. So I'm just
Mhm.
making this work. But
Oh, wow.
that that was my start.
Yes. That's right, Tony. He is the best.
Thank you.
Amazing.
That's my mentor, Tony Shaw.
Hi, Tony. Thank you
Yeah,
for joining us. Uh,
that I all that new stuff I learned from her.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. We're gonna give you your flowers, Miss Shaw, because when I say, well, me personally, I'm naturally introvert, and I get a bit of anxiety in front of the camera. I've worked with a few people, and he was one of the first photographers I worked with, and I felt so safe, so comfortable with him, and it was like I didn't have to do anything, and he guided me through the whole process. It was like he saw me and knew how he wanted me to look, and amazing experience. And so he is definitely somebody I recommend, will recommend, continue to recommend professional quality work. He understands lighting, just so many things working with DeShon, just from my personal experience. And so, yeah, thank you, Tony, for pouring into him because we're all gleaning from the seeds that you've sown because you did an amazing job. So, getting right into things, who are some of your favorite photographers, like people that interest you or people that catch your eye in the world of visual arts?
Well, I would say my mentor, because she is a fantastic photographer. I look at her work and her creativity, and I'm saying, can I do that? Do I see that? Do I see that? Do I see beyond that? Um,
Mhm.
she pushes me to go beyond. But I like. There's so many photographers out there. Um, I want to tell you my friend's name in Arkansas. I can't think because we are live, and
That's how it happens.
uh, but he's down in Arkansas. But his work is phenomenal, and I got him doing AI stuff in a group, and he
Mhm.
has taken it on to the moon and back. His name probably would come back up to me. But famous photographers, um, I don't know many. I see a lot of work, but I see things and I grab things and see if I can recreate or if I can do that. I have friends that are up and coming that are doing major things, and he is one of my favorite photographers right now. I'm talking about Brandon
Rashad.
Todd,
I
and
work with him too. We go to church together. Shout out to Brandon Rashad, amazing work, amazing photographer.
yes, because
He
he
is,
like to call me
yeah,
his
in
mentor,
his
but
bag.
we are reversing because his opportunities are great right now, and I love what he's doing. I am so proud of him and the work that he's doing. So I look
Yeah,
at who's working now, because a lot of quote unquote famous photographers, they want to show you what they're doing, but they want to charge you an arm and a leg just to show you,
yeah,
and you never grasp the concept, and
yes,
you just feel like you're just starting back over. So
understand.
I'm inspired by everyone to what to do and what not to
That's good. I wanna hop right into this conversation, as we're talking about church, and I understand we're in the age of branding churches and social media, and I understand we're capturing moments. But I really want to hear your thoughts as far as managing the moments. Like, where is the line drawn between capturing moments in worship and then flat out invading intimacy with someone's worship experience? Just because, on one end, you're telling a story, but the next thing you're trying to worship, and then you have a camera like all in your face. And so, from your end, when holding the lens, I would love to hear your perspective on that.
Well, first of all, hopefully in a worship service you'll get the photo from me because I'm going to be in worship if I'm shooting. Um, because I will still praise God and shoot. They'll be like, "How you get that? You yeah,
Because you were in the corner too.
you're subject to the prophet." So I know how to praise God and shoot. Um, you have to if you're a ministry photographer, you
Mhm.
have to make sure you invest in a zoom lens so that you don't have to get in a worshiper or a praiser space because it's rude. I don't want you in my face, even if you don't have a camera. or not. You sometimes I don't even want to talk to my neighbor because I just want to praise God. I don't have time to talk
Oh,
to
don't get me started on the look at your neighbor, because you get one from me. After that, I'm like,
and Sunday, I was like, I'm not telling my neighbor that. I told her she knows. She can get the interpretation. She heard you. Uh, uh,
because it's like almost like a violation of privacy sometimes where you have some
yeah,
people that want to worship and they don't because as soon
mhm,
as you get into your space, here comes the media team and they're all and it's like putting up
mhm.
the church fan like, do you mind? Do
Yeah,
you mind?
and you're like, yeah, and then I'm like, okay. But yeah, I do my best to have my long lens with me, and
Mhm.
if I have to crop it later, if it's really a wonderful worship shot, a good hands raised. A lot
Yeah.
of times, if I see someone who is really going forth in God, if it's just not a regular tear, because you know some you know how we do, we get the ugly cry, and then they got
It's
that
just
picture.
like,
Why you got this picture of me looking crazy? So some of those I may have to keep it where
Mhm.
nobody else sees it. Um, but it definitely will not go on our social media or go out to be in any of our programs.
Right.
You,
Right. 'Cause and I understand this story has to be told, capturing moments, but I just I hear a lot of conversations within the digital media spaces and reading the comments, and I just thought maybe we should kind of unpack this a little bit more, because both sides are being argued, and maybe some of those, that, saying get a zoom lens or long arm, but then there are others that know that and they still want to, um I won't say they interrupt, but it's just kind of invasive, and it's like, where's the line drawn on that?
yeah,
Um,
they have to have the spirit of God in order to truly try to capture worship, to truly try to capture praise, because you know when you are being paparazzi and not in worship, because me taking photos in ministry, well, whenever I take photos, it's ministry to me. So if I'm not ministering while I am capturing your image, if I'm not capturing the pure essence of praise and worship, then I'm
mhm,
already out of order. I'm
right,
already in your space, because there's a difference between being in your space, because if the person who's in praise or in worship is bothered by your presence, they haven't tapped in on. But that's a whole nother subject that I could.
no, I mean, that's a really good point as far as utilizing discernment while capturing the
Yeah,
moment, like, we can talk about that.
you have to use it as a photographer, because you should be recognizing your background. You should be recognizing your foreground and what is happening in between. Because even though they may be in worship, somebody else may be sitting there like they have no clue what God is. And then
Mm,
you got this great worship photo, and then you got them looking crazy. You have to recognize your whole environment. You just can't be so loose and so wild minded, or just randomly taking shots.
mm.
You have to create images. You just can't say I'm getting shots.
Right, because the photography, the work itself, videography, whatever,
Hmm.
that's ministry too. Because, like you said, maybe there's someone that doesn't know God or their relationship with God may be estranged, and that one shot can evoke an emotion.
Exactly, because a lot of times you have new members or people who are visiting, and then you all in their face, like, because like they halfway want to stand up and say, I'm a visitor. So if you got that camera in their face, or even sometimes in video, when you surprise somebody and they have to look up at the thing, they be like, "Oh my God!" It's kind of embarrassing. So you have to use this. You have to use your spiritual mind when you because especially if you don't know them, if they're not a regular,
Right.
don't get them in face. Don't mess with them. You'll get it if they join. They'll be back.
That's good. So, Even when you're on post with the camera, how do you maintain composure? Because you know where I go and I know where you go. And it's like, how do you squeeze out these shots when the service is so high? Because I'm like, I don't see how I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But how do you do it? Like, how do you manage those moments?
It comes in between. If I miss a moment and I'm praising or worshiping God, then I miss that moment. They'll come back again. They'll
That's
come
good.
right back. And the spirit is subject to the prophet. And I'm the prophet that it is subject to. And I know how to get that dance in, hold my camera. It ain't gonna break it, ain't gonna crack the lens. I'm gonna I'm gonna praise God. And if I know I'm really gonna go, I'm gonna set that camera down in a safe space and go for what I know. Um
Go for broke.
broke and you know that I will.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you
Oh my gosh.
use
Since we're kind of in our churchy lane right now, so you sing with some major people. So how did you get come on, you sing with major people. Let's talk about it for a moment. We're gonna circle back to the creative thing. So, with the one and only legendary Ricky Diller and New G, how did that happen for you?
Well, I've known um, Ricky Dillard for several years. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I originally sang with Orlando Draper and the Associates.
See, I'm from Nashville, so say less. Like people from Tennessee, Orlando Draper has a whole nother meaning. But
Yes.
tell your story, man of God. Go ahead.
So they were very close and good friends, and he was always
Yeah.
and he was always where Ricky was in Chicago. So I've always known him, and we've always sang together in our different conferences and different concerts that we've had. And when I moved into DC in 2009, it was not long after that when he started the New G chapters. So he
Mhm.
did the DMV chapter, and I saw him at brunch one time. He said, "Well, I know you're gonna come up with me," and I said, "No," because I was singing with another choir, and I said, "No," because they sang with him, but I was just like, no, I don't want to do, but I really did because when they said DMV, I was like, "Oh my God!" I had al- I had always imagined myself singing with Ricky Dillard and New Generation Corral. But I was with Orlando in Memphis, so I knew that wasn't happening. But the way God works things out, that's what I am now, a new G tenor. But I am also over the graphics and the marketing and all of those things that you see on Ricky Dillard and New G Instagram or any promos basically that we have. Um, I have my hand in that. Me and my good friend Carnell. They
Miss Betty. No, ma'am.
Betty will have you singing.
Look, I just told somebody yesterday, I was like, the choir robe is the jerseys and the wrappers. I don't do that anymore. But I know you probably can, but I'm like,
Looking at a thousand rows in this closet right now.
yes, DeShon can sing. Not sing, sing.
Yeah, I'm like I sing all day. I work and sing. I shoot and sing. I go
Mhm.
to church and sing. I had a praise team rehearsal before this live, so it's music is a part of my life, just like my
Yeah.
because it is art. It is art. You have to minister to people. You have to sing to their hearts, sing to their spirits, because people are going through a lot of things, and
Yes.
soothe
Yes.
the soul.
Yeah. Fun fact. So I'm from Nashville. Since I was like 12 or 13, I grew up with at the time Cherie Huddleston from Nashville, Tennessee. She now sings with now she's Cherie Newman, but she sings with Bobby Jones, and she's my sister's godmother. And they have a radio station, Isabel Radio, out of Nashville. So it's just kind of funny how life is so full circle. That's interesting.
It ties us right up together. Because I'm like, when I found out lived in Nashville, I was like, well, Lord Jesus,
All
and
this
then
time, we probably passed each other, didn't even know each other.
all of that, I was just like, now where are you? It's
It's
the same
so
thing with our other guests you have in Recondi. It's all of our friends knew each other. And I'm like,
right.
ever looked up these two creatives to get together and work like we did at the retreat? I was like, huh?
Can we talk about that for a minute? Okay, since this is throwback, this is Thursday. We're gonna do a little throwback Thursday before we go deeper into this conversation. That retreat was phenomenal, and it was so wild because I didn't realize, like you said, we knew a lot of the same people, and that was the retreat where you shot us, and not shot, but with the sessions and the cabin there, amazing aesthetics. Especially we were upstairs and we got those dark lighting photos and just working with you in that space. It just like I knew you were gifted, but then to experience it,
Yeah,
I was just like, oh wow, like he really knows his stuff.
yeah. I wanted to shoot every single person that was there, whether they paid or not. I was just like, it was such a life changing experience.
Yeah,
Mark Coley and what he provides the world. Um, that was an amazing time. I've had experience from church to Azusa, um, but I've never experienced anything like that in those cabins out there in those
it
woods.
was great.
I wanted
Also,
to bring
well,
out.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to bring out everything that I saw in everybody
You
because like
did.
I would sit and study everyone's face on our Zoom calls in the morning, and I was like, oh, I know we can do this. Oh, I know I can rock this. But when everybody got in my space, I said, "Oh, we're
You did,
gonna."
and you did that too. Like, cause I remember when you got to me, it was like you just knew. Cause
Yeah,
I
I
was
did.
like, I didn't know what to do, and you just like, come on, I got it.
Mhm. You came and it was that when I looked at that, I said, what's Tyler Perry's show?
The
Have and
have
have,
man.
just like that promo." I said, "Oh no, yeah, this is
You
this
gave
is
me the Veronica Harrington special.
just yeah,
I was like, this is giving wealth. It was, and you know what? To this day, I still use those photos because when people, and let's get into that, the necessity of high resolution photos, not selfies, not a picture for picture, but the necessity of high resolution photos
yeah.
for headshots and professional purposes. Can we please unpack that for a moment?
You have to have professional headshots if you are a professional. If you are a preacher, you need professional headshots. If you own a business, you need a professional headshot. If you are a brand ambassador, you need professional headshots, branding shots. You need real photos from a professional photographer. I love AI, but these AI pictures are not considered your professional headshot.
They're abusing AI.
Yeah, they coming up, but that just doesn't fly. I know how to get your face and put it on a AI image, but for your professional photos,
It needs to be you.
stop.
'Cause the AI abuse is real out here, like,
You be looking wise and otherwise with 17 fingers and a bad eye, looking like another actor I know. Um,
like he took NyQuil and DayQuil at the same time.
same time, I know they do come in the same box, but you don't take them at the same time. Yeah. But yeah, and those preaching pictures they come sending me for a flyer, and they got a whole strap of a seat belt across. I'm like, surely you're not preaching to me if this is the pictures that you have. But
Oh, because 'cause they're in the car taking the car selfie.
I'm taking the selfie. I'm just like, oh no, I won't be able. I won't be able. This one won't be able to go on the flyer. This will be an all text flyer.
But just even the poses, with the posing, and this burns me, and I get, we're trying to look more confident, but the whole hand on the hip and it's I
Yeah,
hate that pose so
yeah.
much. I hate it.
All of those poses, I'm like, you have to go in and feel the people that you're shooting. You have to. because your brand is more than your logo. It's you.
Yes.
It's what you have presented to us all of this time. I used to say I brand churches. I can't brand the church because I'm not a church. I am the church, but I'm not your church because your church already has a name. You have already branded you. My DeShon Gales has already been branded because of what I do and how I treat people.
Yes,
Not
respectful.
my logo, not my name in cursive. It's me. And
Mhm.
when you present yourself to me, I see your brand. I feel your brand. And this is not your brand. Only your glasses like this. This is not your brand.
Looking deep.
Looking wonderful. This is not your brand. Just
Looking
you.
2 feet deep.
I just want to capture you and capture
Yeah.
your environment.
Or what's the other one? The prayer hands? The prophetic hands.
I'll be like, look, you have to do this with sequences sometimes, just so you
Ah.
can so you can say you got it out the way. But those things when you really connect with them and then they see it, like, oh my God. If I don't get that from somebody, I haven't done my job in my heart. I'm always looking for somebody that says, oh my God, you
Mhm.
got that. I didn't know when you got that. How can you know? Because you're not behind the lens.
Yes.
It's my eye. And I call that God's eye. Because he sees and then he tells me how to frame.
Mhm.
I have a full frame camera, not a crop. I want to get the
No.
full sense of what God wants me to capture. And that can be in church, in studio, at a picnic, at a fashion show. He's going to tell me how to capture the image. And I may not be the best photographer, but I know how to capture the best images. I do
That's really good. And then once, I will say this, and maybe, your this is your sentiment, you have a photo shoot, right? And let's say the photo shoot is on, I don't know, Friday or Saturday, and then the client expects to have the pictures back by Wednesday. Not to think, like, you have other clients, other bookings, other events. It's bigger than taking a picture, there's editing that has to be done, there's a lot that happens. So can we kinda talk more into, um, advocacy of our visual creators as far as being a client, being a good client, being a nice client, being an understanding client, and realizing it's not just snapping a picture with your iPhone.
that. Let me tell you this. I always pray for good and better clients that understand and that are teachable to know that if I took a photo today, it's not for you to get it back because I need to go in and review what I have because we are in the moment when I'm shooting, I'm capturing images of you. We are in the moment, and it's not some older photographers they call it chimping. You looking at the camera, then you look, then you taking the picture, then you got to look. That's taking up time. So if you are a professional, you know how you can capture that image and then go back in and do what we call a cull session. So we go through all of the images, see what's in focus, see what was creative, see how they fit and they gel together for your brand and for your look. And now I usually give my clients their photos pretty fast because
Mhm,
I'm usually pretty excited to see what I got. So my process is I will give them a light edit so that they can have their proof like we used to have in high school and elementary. These are your proofs. This is
from
what came.
Olin Mills.
It might be a light because I might get excited and say, "Oh, let me touch this up." But you get the proof. I usually will give their proof the next day unless it's somebody who really needs something. Um, but most people do 3 to 5 business days. So that's like if it wasn't over the weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. We have to teach our clients how to be respectful and understand our workflow
Mhm,
because anybody that's a business, surely you're not their only client. You're go to McDonald's, somebody's going to be in line after you. You go to Chick-fil-A, somebody is going to be in a long line behind you. So you have to allow me to serve you, and make sure you have everything that you need, and you're going to be taken care of in line and in the order of which your order was taken. And that's the same thing. Same thing goes for graphic design, because sometimes people just want their flyer.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
we get them back properly utilizing those photos. I know we get all excited, but using maybe 1 or 2 max of those photos and making the most, maximizing those. Like, if you get your shots back, don't drop all 20 of you've wasted it's like a gun, you've emptied your clip, and now you have no ammo. So can we talk about being strategic and utilizing our return from our photographer?
yeah. Um, and I am guilty of this. When I take photos, I usually don't charge like each image, and I'll charge each image for retouch. But
Mhm.
people charge for every image that they receive. I usually
Right.
just give you your photos, and then I say whatever image you want retouched, then you pay for that. But some people, if you retouch it or not, they gonna post the 20 pictures, and I'm just like, isn't this supposed to be for a special occasion? And you have posted all these pictures. You have given nobody anything to look forward to. So I'm like, best practices, if you have to post one, do a behind the scenes or a little sneak peek of one,
Mhm.
until your project or your event happens, so that people can be wowed and not just be like, oh, I saw that. And I hate a, oh, I saw that. You ever send your friend something on Instagram, and you so excited, you ready to laugh to give you say, oh, I saw that. God, just enjoy what I just showed you. Act like you
Enjoy
never
the moment. Yeah, it does kinda kill it,
get
I
excited.
totally get it, like,
You can get
let's
excited
hold it.
a hundred photos, and then they go back and try to edit and put their own little spin
Little
on it.
twist on it.
Oh wow, that was me. Can't put that in my portfolio.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are kind of things that like kind of stab you in your chest. You be like, oh wow.
Yeah,
And it's like they'll be ready. They'll be needing another photo shoot because they have shown all of the photos.
exactly. So I wanna shout out a couple people that have dropped in, Carissa Johnson. "Hey, Danita," and Danita out of Nashville, Tennessee. She wants to know, "Are you a traveling photographer?"
Yes, I am. I will get on an airplane and go and shoot all over the world. I've shot all over the world, from Brazil to Africa. Where else have I been? Memphis. Yeah, so working out something that's in California now.
Yes, and I need to bring her back. I love first of all, Danita Gibbs can not sing, but sang you to tears, like, and she's so sweet.
Took about
So,
who's just on the screen.
yes, Danita Gibbs, that's my sis.
Okay.
Yes, she's a gospel artist, and she's been with the Doves and the Stellars, like, phenomenal, multiple awards,
Yeah.
anointed, loves the Lord, but I just wanted to openly shout her out, but just because she's such a sweet, such an amazing person. So, hopefully, after the show, I can get you 2 connected.
Yeah.
She's a
Yes.
beautiful person that, love for you to meet.
Okay. I can't wait.
For sure. And as we get deeper into this conversation, I do wanna talk about stepping outside of the things as far as we look at how, since we are talking about visual arts, how we as Black people controlling our narrative and our story outside of the lens when we look at media as far as news, social media, and how that comes into play. So, as you being someone that controls the lens, how do you feel like it's important for you to be a voice and a Black man in this environment as far as how you show up, how you represent, how you step out, but then also how you narrate stories?
You have to stay in the news, in the know. Even if you don't watch your local news,
Mhm.
News is going to be coming. If you're on social media, it's going to come through all of the platforms, through Instagram, especially Facebook. And so people ask me, how do I know such and such happened? Because it's on Facebook. They are relaying the news. And if you have a heart, or if you have any type of emotions or feelings, um, like if a social event is happening in the world today, it seems like if you are creative, it will trigger or make something go off in you. Say, I have to say something. I have to capture this, or I have to some kind of way bring attention to this subject. Um, as you grow in art school, a lot of the art was based on politics and religion and stories and all the and they went, they traveled, they got out and they figured out, they found out what was going on, and then they recreated that moment and they captured that moment. Even when there was no photography, they drew scenes from what they saw, of what they felt when they went to those experiences and to those times. And we have to do it now in order to put a stamp or um, make sure that our nephews and nieces and people that are in our families after us, that they will have history, that they will know this happened on this day, this happened within my family, this happened in my neighborhood. And I am here to tell you, but like my friends, they call me the historian, because I'm going to capture everything. I'm going to capture every event. So, and I don't wait. I don't wait to Throwback Thursday. I'm gonna show you. Do you remember this? Or
Yeah.
I just showed the picture. It when you're creative, it's it is always key to capture the moments and the time,
It's like a
because
time capsule.
yes, I've always wanted to do a time capsule. I used to try to dig one in the ground, but I think I got in trouble with the camera. But I knew I could capture it with the camera. Because like I have stacks of film photos that I'm going through trying to scan so I can keep um record of my family and my friends and the different
Yeah, that's important. Yeah. I still have my photo album of pictures from college
yeah.
and years prior when I was small just because of digital media. And I think a lot of us, as far as a society, we've depended on Facebook and Instagram as our primary, like, digital photo album, and we've seen time and time before it will crash and go down. If it crashes and go down, then all those pictures and videos you've posted on Facebook and Instagram, they're gone forever. And so although we have these digital apps, which are great, it's still important to keep them in other places, print them out, put them somewhere, make multiple copies. Maybe you have a copy or a set and then give another to another relative. That way, if something happens, you know, you still have those memories because if something happens to where you can't access your site because you know they're notorious for locking up people's accounts for whatever reason, you cannot access those pictures or those videos anymore.
That's right. And Facebook goes down, Instagram goes down. They are trying to take TikTok down. And if you don't have it saved somewhere, I have 4 big hard drives behind my computer right now. And I have other SSD drives to back it up, and the backup has a backup. Yeah, because you have
I have multiple drives, like,
yes,
they're like
you
various terabytes, like here.
have thumb drives, thumb drives galore.
Yes.
Yeah, making sure you archive and save your work. And a lot of photographers, they'll do a session and they'll get your money and do what they're gonna do. Then they'll throw your photos away. If my clients are good at asking, "Do you have that link? Do you have that photo you took of me, so and so, so and so?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
You remember 2019 when, we were.
Because all I do is pull that up. And a lot of photographers I know that archive images like that, they do charge to
Yeah.
reopen the file. And I think I'm going to incorporate that real soon because people really lose links that you have to pay for a website for, and a lot of people don't download. They expect you to be their archive. I think
Yeah.
I'm start incorporating that reopen file.
Awesome. And then one last question as we start to wrap up, Deshaun. Being a safe space as a photographer, me being a lady, I have had experience before a time or two where the photographer, I can think of one in particular, I felt very uncomfortable. And I shot with him twice. The first time I was with someone and I thought, okay, this is fine. So when I rebooked him and this time the other person wasn't there and it was just me, it was giving major creep vibes, and the prompting to wanna take other photos, and I had to be an advocate for myself and be firm on, "No, we're not doing that, I'm doing these type of pictures," and the photographer trying to slide in, "Well, hey, just pose like this or do this," and me having the discernment to say, "No, I'm not posing that way, we're taking professional headshots, this is what I'm doing." And the whole environment just and I thought to myself, "I would never shoot with this person again, ever, because I was like it felt very predatory. And so that experience, it took me a really long time to trust other photographers, and I've only worked with you, Rashad, and maybe one other person, but it was like experiencing you 2 definitely raised the bar, but I will never forget and that was my first time doing a photo shoot, and it was a very long time just because I was traumatized because I feel like this is what photographers do. This is, it was a lot. Now I have you and Brandon as my photographers and I'm good, but 10 years ago during that time, working with that person for the first time with any type of photographer, I was like, "Oh my god." It was a lot.
I really hate you had that experience. I pride myself on being a professional photographer. I shoot some beautiful people, and sometimes you have low-minded friends or people you know. Oh man, I know you. I know you. No, no. How do you know? Because if you know me, you know I didn't. Because
Right,
my face is like flint, creating what we need to create in that moment, not doing anything untawdry or out of unseemly or out of place.
right.
That's so unprofessional. It's so nasty. And that's just so dumb for you to wait until you get somebody in front of your camera and you take advantage of them. You get them out of their clothes for your nasty pleasures. When they paid you, even if they haven't paid you,
I was
and
clothed the whole time for the record. Like, I was clothed, but it
yeah,
that yeah,
a lot
oh god.
experience, and I am a Law and Order fanatic, and so many episodes they had in
The
photographers.
intro kills me in these cases.
Oh my god,
Known as
I
the
couldn't
Special Victims Unit,
imagine
especially
doing
heinous crimes. These are the stories. Dun, dun.
do, do, I can't imagine it because I shoot everybody.
Yeah,
I don't discriminate. I shoot babies. I shoot other children. I shoot old elderly people. I shoot
multi-generational, yes.
shoot supermodels. I shoot preachers. My portfolio is not limited to any of those because one minute you might see a collar, the next minute you might see chest, and then you might see posterior. Um, but none of those people will ever be able. I like my co-pastor. You won't ever. I don't want to ever make you ashamed. You will never get in the wind or gossip that DeShon Gales gets you in the studio and takes advantage of you and do all of these kinds of things to you in studio or when he's shooting and sneaking shots of you when you're dressing. I respect you. I have a whole thing for you can if we was even in the park. I'll take it out there for you to change your clothes. I don't want to see you. I don't want any of your extraness that you don't want on your photo. If you want a new photo, I know how to take boudoir shots. I know how to take professional nudes, but that don't mean I'm getting excited off of you. That's why in art school they bring nude models in front of you because you just can't be hot and horny when you're to be creative. So I take pride in not ever being caught up in saying any of that or ever even thinking about when it's time to work and create, I am focused, laser focused. Some people say if you don't uh take a break, no, because if I'm not focused, um, if you give the devil place, he will take advantage of that place.
What the
And
elders in the church say, if you let him ride, he's gonna wanna drive.
he gonna want to drive, and he gonna drive, and you gonna let him drive it like it's a Tesla.
Not a
You gonna let him drive it like
autopilot.
it's the Mercedes truck. He gonna
Hey,
take over.
look, do it, Lord. GLE me, please, God.
Yeah, I would love to have, it, but I don't want the devil to drive.
Right,
Hmm.
right. DeShon is very respectful.
Yeah,
Yes. Um, I enjoy this conversation so much. And I love what you're doing in this space as far as creating conversation for other creatives. And that's what we do here at the Speaker Podcast, a podcast where innovators and creators connect. And these are the stories and conversations that we like to have here and tell. I definitely want to bring you back for part two, just because I just love engaging with you. We have such great chemistry. And before we wrap things up, Deshaun, do you have any takeaways or nuggets that you would like to leave for our listeners and viewers? And then also where people can connect with you and book offline and on social media.
yeah. My name is my social media at DeShon Gales. If you put DeShon Gales anywhere, if you put it in Google, if you put it in Instagram or Facebook at DeShon Gales, you can go to DeShonGales.com and it's going to take you to DG Creative Studio and DeShon Gales Photography, and you can connect with me. If you would like for me to do a job, I have forms on my website, not in my DM. Not in
Not
my
in the DMs.
not in the DM. It goes down in the DM, but I don't
No,
want the
it
business
doesn't.
to go
No,
down.
it doesn't.
I don't want the business to go down because I will not see it, especially if you're not my friend. It'll go to a whole nother inbox.
Yeah, and my
But
DMs are drier than a curl from 85 anyway, so it's not gonna matter.
but Deshaun, my email is Deshaun at DeShawnGales.com. If you put in Deshaun Gales, you will get me. And you will be able to put in a form or you will be able to email me your request. Camille, thank you so much for having me on. I didn't know if we were going to, I knew we were going to have fun, but I could turn it to the Shay Shay.
Hey, we can do it. That's why I need to bring you back. But I'm trying to respect people's time,
Yeah,
as grandma would say, it's a still a school night. So
yeah. So we had to have our Shay Shay night on Instagram.
yes, yes. I might keep mimosas. We might have to, bring that back one good time. So,
Yeah,
if you know, you know.
you know.
And any gems, nuggets, or takeaways for the listeners and viewers until I bring you back?
Creatives, be yourself. Don't be a carbon copy of what you've seen other people do. Take some of the good things that you've learned, take some of the things that you see, and incorporate it into what you do. But don't go and steal. Don't go and take other people's artwork. Even if someone says, I want it like this, trick them. Make it look similar. Make it yours. Make it your own. Because that builds you, that builds your work ethic, that builds your character, that makes you you. I'm not the best photographer, I'm not the best graphic designer, but people always, every single day, want me to do it because they want Deshaun Gales to do. Be
Yes.
you.
And showing up is half the battle. Speaking for all the introverts, showing up is half the battle. So
Yeah.
with that being said, Sean, thank you. Hang tight after the show. If everyone, if you have not done so, please go right now to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram at Camille.Essig. We're also on Facebook at The Speaker Podcast. And I would love to hear from you. Send me an email at thespeakerpodcast@gmail.com. Join us next week at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with my guest, Racondius O'Brien Lynch. He is coming through. We're about to have a really good time. If you know, you know, okay? He is definitely like the vibes, like, so it's gonna be a really, really good show. And I'll see you all next week. Be safe, be blessed, and be safe this weekend. Love you all. Thank you. Good night. Bye.